Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to do a shadow reveal for Saturn stationing retrograde, and that happens July 26th, I believe, depending on time zone. It could be the 25th, but the main point is Saturn is your responsibility to moving your goals forward, okay, but it's also your responsibility internally to process external fears, external emotion, especially around your goals. Okay, so like if you're moving your goals forward and you're expecting someone to approve it before you say, yeah, I'm going to continue to do that. Because when you start saying things like, well, let's see where it goes, there's a problem with that, okay? If you're making your goals based off of how it turns out, you're not going from inside, you're going from a mindset of it's not good enough unless it's approved, okay? And so this is where Saturn retrograde is going to be going over stuff that you're doing only because it's going good outside, but inside your life is falling apart, okay? You're miserable, you're not happy, your relationships are just, broken. And so I'm going to go ahead and do a shadow reveal for the start of the retrograde, okay? So like I said, Saturn is going retrograde at 14 degrees, 45 minutes, Aries. And remember, Aries is your I am energy, but it's also when Mars takes action on that. So like I said, if who you are is not your main goal moving forward, but what is approved out there or what makes money, okay, what is getting you stuff, that's going to be coming to a halt during this retrograde because it's going to be bringing up internal feelings more, internal sicknesses showing up, okay, internal things that need attention, okay. So let's go ahead and do the shadow reveal for Saturn going retrograde. The shadow around your Venus, the fear that keeps it going, the harsh truth, the practical application to realign with your Venus I am energy, okay, through a goal, and then the Holy Spirit's about it. And so the relationship to self and others, that's going to need to be looked at and healed, okay? So let's go ahead and do the reveal. Okay, so the shadow around the Venus during this Saturn retrograde period is the Ten of Pentacles, but it's upside down. Okay, so remember guys, Ten of Pentacles is basically around your goals, Saturn, Capricorn, but you're using external spirits. You're calling on external validation to be shown to you in order for you to continue moving that forward. But if it's upside down, guys, okay, if it's upside down, the shadow means it's coming from an external source, an authority figure. That is also Saturn, okay? Saturn in Capricorn is where you're going to meet your earthy authority figures, okay? So when you start moving who you are out as a child, if external people did not approve it, and remember, the reason external people might not approve who you are when you're a child is because they too have been taught from their parents that who they are was no good. So they change themselves. Okay, so an example of that is like my father. My father was very smart, very intuitive. He was an engineer practically. He was able to fix things without even having to learn about it. He was able to invent things. He was very brilliant. However, growing up, his parents, Ten of Pentacles, okay, came from maybe a lower era or whatever, and they couldn't believe that he was that smart. And they maybe gave his brothers more attention because my dad grew up in a really big family. And so what ends up happening is all those external spirit where the parents may be treating everybody else better than my father made him give up who he really was because he wanted external validation. So he starts doing things to prove that he's worthy of love. And I remember we moved to America and my father starts trying to get the best of the best. So he works his butt off as a construction worker. And even though he's really brilliant, he becomes the foreman and everything. He starts making money. But remember, when there's a shadow around your Venus of trying to prove yourself so that you get external love, approval, validation, things really don't work out because the spirits are going against you. The spirit of insecurity, inferiority, right? Insecurity is tied to inferiority. You end up having the spirit of depression because you're depressing who you really are in order to be loved by external people because you thought who you were wasn't good enough. Okay, my brothers and sisters were getting more attention than I was, and I was brilliant, you know what I mean? So my father starts making, all these videos and sending it home and showing everybody, look at all the technology we got, look at all the TVs we got, look at all the blah, 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 blah. But nobody ever really gave him what he wanted. You know what I mean? And that's because your Venus, being the truth of who you are, is the only way you're going to get any sort of attraction that matches your desires, okay? So if you desire love, love doesn't come from outside. You gotta love yourself. Be the real you, and that energy is gonna attract the feeling of love that you feel inside. Okay, so my dad never felt that he reached that, okay? But that's because he was running on his shadow. So that's Saturn territory there. So like I said, when you're growing up and you want to be yourself, if your parents couldn't even be themselves, now they're going to tell you, no, this is the way. Or you watch them and you say, oh, well, my dad's doing work, hard labor, even though he's a brilliant engineer, but that's life. And so you start doing your life the same way. That's the shadow. Okay, so here's the fear that keeps it going is the King of Cups, which means, once again, this, you guys, somebody you put on a pedestal. We were all watching our parents. We basically followed them. They are the king and queen. They are the director of our ship. They're the captain of our ship, right? So we drank that poison. We drank their shadows that they didn't process, dumped it on us. And that's what's leading us to continue forth going against who we are because of the spirit. Okay, and it's not even the spirit, it's like we want external love and validation, but that's not how it works. Okay, it was a faulty wiring. So the harsh truth here is the Seven of Pentacles. We're all doing witchcraft and sorcery, going out to try to get something to fill up here. And notice, Seven of Pentacles, we're trying to avoid feeling at home in our body. We're riding with an external spirit. Okay? We're using our magic. We're misusing our power. The harsh truth is we've all become witches, and we don't realize it. Guys, witchcraft and sorcery, like, when you think about that, using drugs to feel better, okay, is going out there, getting some magical pill, taking it for something that's inside you that is off, okay? So it's like, this is where when Saturn goes retrograde and all of a sudden, the body starts slowing down. All of a sudden, all these sicknesses are showing up to halt you. What are you going to do with the sickness? You know what I mean? Run out there and have them remove whatever is bothering you, okay? And then it's just going to grow back. Okay, it's just gonna resurface. So the practical application here is the Ten of Swords, but it's upside down. Okay, which means the Ten of Swords, you're battling yourself for what an external person can taught you through perception. Okay, so remember Ten of Swords, guys, is where you yourself are killing your heart. But because it was upside down, it's what you're trying to get from other people. So now, every time somebody says, no, you're not, that's not good enough, and you switch a job that you love, so you switch to something else because you want their validation, their approval, their acceptance. Okay, but you doing what you love over here is not good enough for them. So this is the battle, guys. Okay, this is the battle of the Ten of Swords being upside down. The practical application there is that what you love, do that. And if somebody doesn't approve it or leaves you for it, let them go. This is the harsh truth, guys. You gotta learn to let go of those people who don't support you, who don't celebrate you. Because if you're always, backing up your friends, you're always the one saying, oh, that's okay, you're gonna do great, I know you can, you got this. But when it's your turn, they go, oh yeah, you really shouldn't be doing that, And you're like, yeah, but I enjoy it. That's bad for you though, If you keep doing that, we're not gonna be with you. Okay, and it's like, whoa, where's my support when I'm happy, right? If you have friends like that, again, sometimes that's your parents, your siblings. They don't celebrate you when you're happy. But the minute you go down, all of a sudden they're like, oh, we're here to help. And it's like, no, you didn't celebrate me when I was happy. What are you doing now? You're gloating that I'm suffering, and you feel good about yourself because you're helping me after you let me chase you. You know what I mean? It's like, but that's where we go wrong. Never chase people who don't celebrate with you, because that's what you're doing, is you're killing yourself for them. Okay? Don't do that. So that's the practical application. The relationship to self that needs healing is the Two of Swords. And remember, this is Venus territory, where Venus and Mars work together to carry your value, your wishes and desires forward. However, Two of Swords means that your Mars and Venus are battling because Mercury is believing the shadow. Okay, Mercury is believing that an external person's worth is more important. External person's acceptance. External person's, clicking like on my whatever. Oh, nobody's clicking like because I have long hair. Let me cut my hair. Everybody's got short hair. I'm going to do it too. That's where your Mars and Venus are fighting each other because of Mercury. Mercury's not processing the fear. Nobody's clicking like. It's not because of what you look like. Okay? That's just the fear. Process your fears. So that's the relationship that needs healing, is the relationship to self. Okay? Always remember that what is happening out there is not here's an example, okay? I was asking Holy Spirit, I said, why am I always attracting guys who are cheating? Who want to cheat on me? And we came to the shadow of being scared. And I was like, well, I'm scared that they're not going to like me. Okay, and Holy Spirit says, if you're scared that they're not going to like you and that's why they cheat, okay, that shadow of being scared that someone's not going to like you is what attracts the cheater. To reflect it. To reflect that, hey, I've got more than one person, or I've got, I want you, but I want everyone else because I'm scared that if you don't like me, I've got all these others. So that's the reflection of the scared shadow. Okay, so that's what came up for me around, why am I attracting cheaters all the time, or people who want to have both their wife or girlfriend and me? What is that? And it's like, it's the scared shadow. So Holy Spirit says, what do you do with scared shadow, Eva? Is you trust your Venus. You trust me, Holy Spirit, that who you are is worthy. Should anybody cheat, cut them off. That's it. Don't even look back. You deserve somebody who is like you. So, it's always a test in life is know who you are, have your boundaries. If you trust this person to be honest and faithful and they cheat on you, and you see that, don't be like, oh, I forgive you. You say, no, goodbye. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for, really you didn't do anything wrong, but at the same time, you say, okay, oops, I attracted the wrong guy, right? It's like, bye, right? And it's like, you can forgive them, but don't let them back. Because that was a test. If you let them back, that's going to start breaking your spirit. Okay, that's how negative entities work. Is that they start to break you down through guilt. Guilt is a torment. Okay, once you say, okay, I forgive you, cut them off. Though there's no such thing as I forgive you and you're going to get better. No, it doesn't work that way. They cheat on you. They might, once you break up and let them go, they might become better for the next person, but they're not going to be better for you. Because that was a line of energetics that was testing you. If you stick to it, you can't level up. Okay? You can't level up from cheaters. And that's how you always end up attracting more and more cheaters, is because you keep giving people too much chances and it's breaking your spirit. So I learned that. Okay, so anyways, guys, that's all I have for the Saturn retrograde shadow reveal. And I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy. Ciao.